Hello and welcome to the first true piece of bonus content for Ain't Slayed Nobody's Patreon page. I appreciate y'all and everything that you're doing for the podcast. And I really hope that we will be able to provide more than just the early access to episodes. And this is kind of a first real attempt at doing that. We have no plans to share any video with the public, so I have a lot of ideas for ways to share video here inside of Patreon. So that I hope that you like this solo adventure that I'm going to play this evening, and maybe we can branch out and play games with some of the other players from our show and from elsewhere as additional bits of bonus content for you going forward. So tonight I will be playing Alone Against the Frost. Let me see if I can get this in focus here. Yeah, this Call of Cthulhu adventure in Canada's wilds. This is written by Glenn Rahman and Gavin Inglis. So I'm really looking forward to digging into this adventure. I've never played a solo adventure before. I have very limited experience as it is. So my understanding is that it's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure novel from the 1980s and 90s, so I'm pretty excited about that. You can see here right in the book, they have numbered entries, so kind of like depending on what you roll and what you decide to do, you jump ahead and jump backwards to go to different entries. So the path, once you get beyond the first one, is undetermined, and so hopefully it'll be fun, and I'll pick a good path, but we'll kind of see how that goes. So in tonight's adventure, I'll be playing a professor from Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts, Dr. L.C. Nadelman, and I am an esteemed cultural anthropologist with a fascination for the big woods in Canada. So I have assembled a group of 3 grad students. They are Bernard Epstein, who is eager to experience life, Sylvia Davidson, who's destined for academic greatness, and Norman Faulkner, who is the calm and collected, self-taught student. We are also accompanied by a cautious wilderness guide named Charlie Foxtail. And that is our group. So we have a group of 5, and we are looking for the river of power, the Hanana, and all of the glory that surrounds it in the woods. This is relatively unexplored territory, so we are going to have to see what we find. I'll be looking for evidence to bring back to Miskatonic and to incorporate in my research. We're going to be playing in the 1920s in the Northwest Territories of Canada. So that is the setting. I'll probably be working from the PDF instead of the soft cover book here, because I think it'll be easier to make at least occasional eye contact with the camera, which is over my computer. So let's see how that goes. I've also set up a dice cam here. So you can kind of see how I'm rolling, and one just got away from me. I made this little stone circle to try to contain the dice, but that didn't work so well. So we'll see how it goes. I'll probably have some re-rolls for when things get outside the circle. But let's do it. Let's start with the very first entry, which is one of the longer entries, I imagine. So I'm gonna read through this so that you have the appropriate context, and I'll be showing you the rolls that I'm making, explaining the decisions that I make, and we'll see what goes on. If I survive, if I achieve academic glory, or if, who knows, it's Call of Cthulhu, so my hopes are not high for survival. Okay. After a few days on the west branch of the Mackenzie, the stuffy corridors of Miskatonic University seem very far away. Sun stipples the water from the glare of midday to the gentle burn of sunset. Caribou gaze at you from the shore. Ahead, a heron drags an unfortunate stickleback from the shallows. It would feel like vacation were it not for the relentless demand of the paddle. Each day makes the students more adept at keeping time with you and Charlie. Your supply of gasoline is limited, so you run the outboard motor as seldom as possible. So that explains the paddle. Sun and wind grant Bernard the outdoor complexion he desires. Great. misplaced priorities of my graduate students already. You locate the tributary one evening just as light begins to fail. Next day, you launch into the North Hanana. Great. So we already found the North Hanana, proceeding along nicely. The Ram Mountains loom in the distance through a heat haze. At this latitude, the summer nights are so short that darkness gives the waterways no time to cool. Norman wipes sweat from the back of his head. It's quite hot in my office here, so I think I'm going to do the same thing. So I do have the fan running if you hear that background noise. The North Hanana is a rougher river than the West Branch. Its floodplain is obstructed by sandbars, hills of driftwood, shingle islands, and forests of dead trees, rooted in the mud. The current points all of them downstream like arrows warning you to turn back. Nice. Sylvia turns to your guide. Charlie, does your people live in this area? Charlie grunts and watches the water. For a moment, it seems he will not answer. Then he looks at Sylvia. At one time. Now, only outcasts. We will avoid them. Sylvia frowns. Why are they... But Charlie raises a hand. From ahead, slowly building, you hear the roar of rushing water. This is the place of the splitting water, he says. Here the river is alive. Each day it makes itself new. All right, so we've reached the splitting water, and I'm being asked to make a luck roll. So let's move over to my dice cam here. This is like a poker event. You can see my fan in the reflection. A 67. Not a great roll, but my luck is 85. So that is a success. Good. I'm going to have a bad roll. I wanted against a skill that I am strong in. The expedition spends the day working through a baffling network of waterways. Sometimes you are forced to back down impassable channels to find an easier way. Sometimes you blunder across the heads of powerful chutes and are swept along with them. At certain points, your party has to wade in waist-deep water, inching the craft along by hand. That sounds unpleasant. You pass labyrinths of wooded islands, fast water, and drift. Finally, you select a peaceful backwater in which to moor and make camp for the night. Nice. All right, now I'm being asked to roll 1d10. So I'm going to do exactly that. And they're looking to see whether I roll even or odd here. All right, I rolled an odd number. So let's see what that means. Your first night along the North Hanana passes without mishap. You must now decide whether to press on hard to penetrate deep into the region or set a more leisurely pace, exploring as you go. Gosh. This is a research expedition. It's really important for me to gather evidence, but at the same time, I feel like, I did a lot of work to raise the money for this trip, so I kind of want to take my time. So I'm going to set a more leisurely pace and just kind of explore as we go. Also, I don't want to miss anything, so I think that's important. A little back from the shore, the faint stench of sulfur wafts out of the mouth of a narrow canyon. You've read about possible hot springs in the Hanana region. It is very tempting to formally discover them. Oh, heck yeah. Okay, to stop and explore, that's absolutely what I'm doing. So I'm going there. You tip the canoe to the bank and lead your party up the canyon. A warm stream runs along its floor, and the rocks along the edges are heavily caked with precipitated minerals of white, gray, and yellow hues. This sounds kind of like the springs I saw in Yellowstone. The farther you advance between its narrow banks, the more desolate the scene. The vegetation struggles in youth and goes to an early death. Gray dust coats the brittle sticks of strangled saplings. You kneel over a stone furred with yellow and white crystals and scrape a sample of the deposits into a small glass vial with your hunting knife. You suppose that they are nothing remarkable, though this is not your area of expertise. Finally, you snap a few photos of the scene with your box camera. Good, so we're already discovering things here. To explore further up the canyon or return to the canoe and continue upriver, I'm going to go a little bit further up the canyon. We already found one thing. I think it makes sense that there's more to be discovered here in the canyon. Who doesn't love to take in the sights of a canyon anyway? Come on. You usher your companions forward. Up ahead, the mineral deposits along the stream are no longer unspoiled. The rocks appear to be stripped of their brimstone and artful vermiculations. Make a listen roll. Okay, let me check my listen skill. 20%. Okay, not loving my chances here. Let me pop over to the dice cam and make a listen roll. That's a 43. I have failed my listen roll. Great. Let's see what that means. Your party rounds a bend and comes face to face with horror. Great. Make a sanity roll. Oh, goodness. All right, my sanity is currently 80. This got heavy fast. Let's see. I'm going to make a sanity roll. Made a little stone circle here. 16. Awesome. So I have passed my sanity check. 5-foot-long crustacean things. Not what I was expecting. With pincers and claws, they clutch mechanical devices. Their activities stop as the startled creatures turn off their machines and reach for other devices near at hand. The screams of terror from your party form a chorus behind you. They don't need your leadership to know what to do. They flee from the alien conclave as swiftly as their legs will carry them. Wow. Gain 2 points of Cthulhu mythos. Sweet. What was my mythos before? All right, I was 0%. I guess that's unsurprising. So now I have two mythos points. Very good. And we will forge onward. A streak of cold stabs past you, leaving a frosty mist in the air like a flashlight beam through fog. Even the near miss leaves a rime of frosty needles on your cheek and hair. You throw a quick glance over your shoulder and see the pink creatures with objects of twisted metal in their claws, evidently weapons. Norman and Sylvia have made the safety of the bend ahead. That's good. That leaves you, Bernard, and Charlie to get clear. But the track is wide open and you are too far behind. Yikes. All right, make a dodge roll. So let me go ahead and do that. I like that I'm rolling quite a lot here. I'm going to make a dodge roll, which is half my dexterity. So 35. My dexterity is 70, so I'm looking for 35 or better. 43. Can I use luck on a dodge roll? Or does that count as some kind of combat? You know what? I don't care. I'm going to use luck, and y'all can tell me if I was wrong to do that. But I'm going to use 8 luck points. So that brings my luck down to 77. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I've succeeded now in my dodging of the crustacean alien things with mechanical weapons. So let's see. If you succeed, make a dodge roll for Charlie and Bernard. Great. Let's see. I'll use their luck points too. I don't even care. All right, Charlie and Bernard. Let's see what you got. I'm going to do Charlie first. Let's do a dodge for Charlie. Charlie's dodge is going to be 27 is what he needs to beat. 94. This is not good. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do Bernard's while I'm here. That is a 49, and he needed a 30, so both of them failed. And I succeeded. So let's see what that means. Let's see. If both fail, go here. All right. Oh no. Twin cries from the rear let you know that both Bernard and Charlie have been hit. You throw a quick glance over your shoulder. Bernard is down, and Charlie manages only a couple steps more before collapsing. Behind them, the creatures swarm. I'm picturing like a Starship Troopers kind of scene here. I think it's probably farewell to Bernard and Charlie at this point. To turn back to help them, go here to race on alone. There's no way I'm going to help them. Look, I have a lot of value for my graduate students, and Bernard had a lot of promise, but I'm afraid that my research is too important for me to die here, and I'm going to forge ahead. And Bernard was already down, so I don't even feel like I have to spend too much effort justifying this decision. I'm going to race on alone and see what happens. You catch up with Norman and Sylvia and cut into the woods. Finally, the three of you pause for breath. Norman stares at you as he leans against a tree. What were those things, Professor? What happened to Bernard and Charlie? To circle back and try to find out what happened, there's no way in hell I'm doing that. To put as much distance between you and the creatures as possible, go here. That's what I'm doing. All right. Your heedless flight through the dark woods has shaken off your pursuers. Good stuff. Now only Sylvia and Norman remain with you. To be frank, my two most promising graduate students. You look at their exhausted faces and vow to find a way out of this accursed valley. All right. We're going to do this. The forage so far has been adequate to sustain the three of you, but it is no small undertaking to march over more than 100 miles of virgin wilderness. Sometimes the banks of the North Hanana are too swampy or too sheer to follow. Your party must cross canyons and deep woods without losing its bearing. That sounds daunting. You and the two students travel over trackless woods on short rations. From day to day, the air cools as the short summer declines into the rugged subarctic autumn. All right. We are working against the frost at last. I have several options here. That's good. I can follow the river. I can scale a ridge, but I really don't like either of those options. Let's see what else I can do. I can thread through light woodland or penetrate deeper into the forest. That seems like suicide. I can concentrate on finding supplies, but it said we were doing pretty well with our rations. I'm going to thread through light woodland. Kind of a middle ground. I feel like that's a nice compromise. All right. And I still need to find things. I'm disappointed that I don't have any evidence of the crustaceans to bring back to my colleagues at Miskatonic. Okay. One lazy morning, you range along a birch-shaded brook with Norman and Sylvia spearfishing. See, everybody's learning something. We're getting new skills. Something twangs into the papery bark beside your head. Oh boy. You glance at it and see it is a small dart of some kind. Immediately, a shrill series of whoops ring from the foliage. You are under attack by people. People only 3 feet tall. Awesome. Mini titans, if you will. All right. This feels like Moana, where they're being attacked by the little fellas. All right. This is going to go great. I can feel it. You shout a warning to your companions and push them ahead of you. Within seconds, you are all running as quickly as you can, ignoring the way the thickets tear at your clothes and scratch your flesh. With your longer legs, you can surely outdistance the aggressive little men if you can just get out of range. Make a dexterity roll. All right. I was getting anxious to roll again. Let's do a dexterity roll. 60 is my number to beat. 25. Sweet. All right. Good. Now we're rolling hot. Your heedless flight through the dark woods has shaken off your pursuers. Now only Sylvia and Norman remain with you. You look at their exhausted face. This is the same entry. So we have We're looking for our way out of this accursed valley. So we've shaken two different groups of pursuers, and now I'm back to where I started making those, I think, difficult decisions about what to do next. Remember, it was follow the river, go to the ridge, etc. So I think this time I'm going to follow the river and see what happens. All right, let's see what the river has in store for us. You trek on through the wilderness. It feels like you have lived here for years. It really does. It wants me to record the keyword Inchcape. Maybe that will be relevant later. All right, I've documented that. And moving on. For a few days, you see little game and the fish become elusive. If you go on in this way, you face starvation. You need a change of luck. As your party of 3 hikes sore-footed along the flank of the North Hanana, Sylvia pokes you in the ribs and exclaims, "Look, Professor, a canoe! Somebody must be around here." However, a search satisfies you that the owner is nowhere near. You hesitate to take the boat, but your party is hungry and a canoe will speed your downriver trip quite swiftly compared to walking. Are you good enough boaters to pass the rapids? All right, so I have options to continue on foot or dare the river. I am absolutely stealing this canoe and trying to take on the river here, and it's asking me for a pilot boat roll. Can't pass that up, right? All right, let's pilot this boat. And I am 30%, so a pretty skilled boatsman. 32. I am going to expend 2 luck points to change that into a 30, bringing my luck down to 75. But that's a no-brainer. I want to succeed this piloting of the boat. And let's see what that brings me. All right. The canoe is the answer to your problems. After you pass a series of rapids, the game and wild fruits become much more common. You continue on swiftly day by day until a rock holes the canoe's bottom, forcing you to abandon it. Oh no. However, you have already reached frequently traveled trails. Is this about to be over? It is time to decide the course of your expedition. Fort McDonald lies within your reach, and you may go there to end your experience in the North Hanana. If you still have an appetite for exploration, you may take a short side trip or even strike back out into the depths of the valley. I'm going to take a side trip. Let's see what that looks like. Of course, you must return to Fort McDonald, but there is time for one last side trip in hopes of learning a little more about North Hanana Valley. It's telling me to do different things depending on how many of my party members are still with us. If you have 2 companions, go here. That's what I'm doing. Oh, this is the one where I have all these different options of things to do, where I can explore a ridge, etc., etc. So this time I am going to, let's see my options at the top of the next page. I'm going to penetrate deeper into the forest. I'm going for broke here. Let's see what happens. To avoid a riverside marsh, you weave through a forest of mature larch. The uneven terrain makes you wish that Charlie was still in your party. Yes, that's very true. I'm going to attempt a track roll and see how that works out. Let me see what my tracking skill looks like. Track. Oh, 10%. Lovely. That is a 99, my friends. Wow. I don't think fumbles really hurt you in these solo adventures, thankfully, but that is a pretty big fail. Let's see. Your party makes progress through the larch forest. Okay, it's pretty scant on details. Attempt a listen roll. All right, we are rolling. A listen roll. Listen was 35%. Is that right? My listen is 20%. I was going to give myself too much credit there. I was looking at Bernard. Poor old dead Bernard. All right, that's a 34. I wish it was 35. I'm going to use luck. So I'm going to use 9 luck points. No, I have to use 14 because I'm only 20. I'm going to use 14 luck points, taking me to 61 luck to turn that into a success. I don't know. Maybe I'm wasting my luck here, but gosh, last time we didn't listen, 2 people died because of the crustaceans. Yeah, so that's a success. Your party heeds the warning and ducks behind a large fallen tree. Several men emerge from the trees to the west. You recognize native hunters, probably of the Sutina. However, their rifles are antique and their gear less sophisticated than the Sutina you have met before. Charlie said something about an outcast group. Could these be the hunters he mentioned? To stride out of cover to greet them. Ooh, that's an interesting option. You can stay hidden, but I have to roll for the least stealthy member of the party if I do that. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to take a sip of water out of my mama bird cup here. All right. Let's see who's the least stealthy. My stealth is 20%. I'm guessing it's me. Oh, man. The students have much better stealth than I do. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to roll for stealth against my 20%. 89. Jeez. All right. Not great. Not great. All right. If failed, go here. A bee darts up and bounces off the face of a party member who instinctively swats at it, making a noise that the passing warriors cannot fail to notice. Your stealthy approach has failed. If you step out to greet the group peacefully, go here, try to run for it, or display your rifles as a warning. I'm going to greet this group peacefully. Let's see how that works out. You urge Norman and Sylvia to make no aggressive moves. The hunters press in around you and take the rifle from your hand and the knife from your belt. Uh-oh. The students get the same treatment. You tell the hunters you mean no harm, keeping your voice even. We mean no harm. One of the hunters speaks in his tribal tongue. You have enough of his language to interpret it as silence or some variation. Your captors take the 3 of you down to the spot where you first sighted them. Are they going to execute us? What's happening? When you arrive there, you find that you are not the only prisoners of this particular band. A girl, perhaps of the same community, rests behind a tree trunk, bound hand and foot. The leader of the hunters fires gruff instructions to his men. His words are too rapid for your slim knowledge of the dialect, but the subsequent actions are clear. The girl is quickly freed from her bonds. Rubbing her wrists to restore the circulation, she is wordlessly accepted back into the clan's ranks. And I'm being asked to roll a d10. So I'm going to do that. All right. I rolled a 0. I guess that's an even number. The situation does not look promising. Okay. Oh, if you have the keyword Inchcape, go here. If not, go here. So I do have the keyword Inchcape. You'll remember from earlier. That's exciting. Maybe I'm too easily amused. The hunters produce enough cords to bind all 3 of you and then place you each against a tree and lash you to the trunk. Their mysterious work done, the outcasts pack up their simple gear and abandon the spot. You wait for a few minutes before beginning to struggle against your bonds. A part of you finds this professionally fascinating, but you will have to get free if you wish to publish your findings. This is a superstar in the field of academia. While tied to a tree by a mysterious band of ancient warriors, you're thinking about the publications. It's inspiring. Make an extreme dexterity roll for everyone present. Great. Wonderful. So I need a 14 or better as the doctor. And then we'll figure out what the others need. Oh, that's not a success. It's a 95. Or now it's a 92. Doesn't matter. I failed. I have to roll for the others. So let me check out their dexterity numbers. I need a 13 for Sylvia. 12! Oh, goodness. That is good news because according to the directions here, only one person needs to succeed, which makes sense because then they can help us with our bonds, right? All right. One of you, Sylvia, works a wrist out of the bindings and is able to free the others. It seems inadvisable to linger in the area. The three of you decide your next course of action. Do we want to explore the region or head home? Feels a little bit risky to keep exploring, but I'm going to do it because we came out here to find things, and I'm not going home empty-handed with just my testimonial about this band of warriors. You press on through the interminable landscape of the North Hanana. If you have the keyword Inchcape, go here. All right, sure. You lead your two graduate students upriver. The expedition needs something to boost its morale. Great. Damn it. You're Miskatonic grad students and you've persevered to this point. Your test scores are exemplary. Imagine the fruits that this research will bear on your academic careers. We must forge forward through the wilderness. And even if we die here, and not to say that there's any chance at all that we're going to die, our research will carry on as long as one of us survives. And we will kind of we will be throwing pebbles into the stream and creating ripple effects that are going to last for generations and generations. And isn't that what it's all about when you're an academic? You just want to make one major impression on the world and you've been a success. So what do you say, team? Yeah, they're excited, obviously. After a speech like that, who would not be excited? I can thread through light woodland, go deeper into the forest, scale a ridge, follow the river, or search for shelter. I'm going to do that. I'm going to look for shelter. So I'm asked to make a navigate roll to do that. Let's see. What do I have for navigate? I'm on Sylvia's sheet. Let me see what I have here. I have 50%. I'm pretty good at this. 85. Gracious. All right. The legendary mists of the North Hanana press in. By day you cannot see the sun, and by night the stars are obscured. Some magnetic anomaly also affects your compass. Whether it is the proximity to the pole or some other reason, you cannot say, but your party has gotten itself lost, and you have no idea in which direction the river lies. Make a luck roll, of course. Why wouldn't we roll for luck again? My luck is now 61, I'll remind you. And that is a 18, right? I feel like I'm working in Vegas here, just sliding things into view of the cameras. 18, very strong. Luck roll. Let's see what happened because I got lucky there. Great. By a stroke of luck, your party stumbles upon an abandoned cabin. Oh, this is like Ain't Slayed Nobody. Stocked with rusty but edible tins of food. This happy discovery solves your food problem for the time being. There's no trace of the person who built the cabin, probably a prospector or a hunter who fell victim to the hazards of the valley. Ah, interesting, isn't it? That wasn't quite my Sparky voice, but it's been a while. All right, we can recuperate a little. So gain 1d10 luck points back. Sweet. So I'm gonna roll to get some luck back. Yeah. And that's a 4. So I'm now 65 in luck, up from 61. I like that. I like getting luck back. That's nice. Let's see. Now it wants me to roll 1d10. 7. So I have an odd number. That's what it was looking for, odd or even. Great. All right, you trek on through the wilderness. It feels like you've lived here for years. We're doing something very circular now. So I'm going back to this entry. And I am... Have I been here before? Yes, I'm finding another canoe. How fortuitous. I've found 2 canoes on the North Hanana. This time I'm not going to try to pilot the canoe. I'm going to continue on foot to mix it up. Starvation sets in. That was a mistake. Day after day, the 2 students stagger after you like wan ghosts. The hungry, inactive nights are the worst of all. As the 3 of you lie in misery on beds of cut boughs, you begin to believe there is a presence in the camp. A thing of spirit that cannot be seen or touched. The temperature drops precipitously, frosting the needles of the tamaracks around you. Make a power roll for each member of your party, beginning with yourself. Great. Power roll. All right, that's D100, I believe. Yeah, that's a characteristic. I have 80. That's a 66, so I passed. I think it said to make one for every member of the party. Yes, it says Norman is next. All right. Norman, power roll, baby. 75. That's a 22. So Norman also succeeds in his power roll. Oh, sorry, I got to sneak that into the view. 22. And then finally, we're going to do Sylvia's roll. Where's Sylvia? I feel like Sylvia's got good skills here. Her power, though, is a 70. That is a 90. So Sylvia failed her power roll. Let's see what that means. Sylvia falls into convulsions. She cries out, her hands beating at the air as if trying to drive away an invisible attacker. You and Norman battle to subdue her. As you struggle, the young woman goes limp and slips into unconsciousness. All your efforts fail to awaken her. Weak as he is, Norman helps you make a dry bed for her and builds up the fire. He seems volatile, and you spend some time with him drawing out everyday campus stories from his time as a custodian. The process seems to settle him. What a great mentor I am to these students. Professor! Norman's alarmed voice drags you from sleep. Look! Sylvia is no longer comatose. She squats on her blanket, her face hideously twisted. Wow. Okay. Make a hard power roll for Sylvia. Oh, this is getting sweet now. Let's see. So I need a 35 for Sylvia. And she got a 21. All right, that's a success. Let's see what that means. No, Sylvia rasps. Her face is the misshapen echo of a girl from long ago, analyzing a thorny paper in a Miskatonic tutorial room, but her voice is that of a demon. Come no closer. It is in me, and I will take you. Run! I crave. You glance at Norman. To your surprise, he speeds away in blind terror. If you hesitate, you may never find him again. To try to talk Sylvia out of her madness, go here. To try to shoot her, go here. There's no way I'm shooting my grad students. To pursue Norman, go here. I feel like it's not too late for Sylvia, so I think, gosh, this seems like a good way to die. I'm gonna try to talk her out of it. Sylvia gives a terrible cry of triumph. As she shouts, she seems to change. Patches of dark ice break out on her flesh. Okay, make a sanity roll. All right, I like that. Let me do that. Let me switch up my camera, make a sanity roll. 94, that is not great. So I've failed my sanity check. Let me see what that means. Lose 1d6 sanity. So let's get back into the the rock circle of rolling. And I've lost 4 sanity points, taking me down to 64 sanity. You race for the cover of the deep woods. The monster follows and is catching up. The big woods are home to its kind. Is it Sylvia? Your only hope is to bury yourself beneath the canopy. I'm guessing this entry is multi-purpose for different beasts that are following you. I wasn't considering Sylvia to be a monster, but okay. I'm going to make a stealth roll now. My stealth is just 20%. That's unfortunate. That's a 68. I failed my stealth roll. Is Sylvia going to destroy me here? You cannot run any farther, but you feel the cold breath of the Windwalker on your back. Oh, so I suppose Sylvia has turned into a Windwalker. It reaches out, you feel its grasp. It has you. You must fight for your life. All right. The Windwalker has 3d6 plus 6 hit points. All right, so that's 11, right? Plus 6, 17. That's a lot of hit points, buddy. This is going to be... Look at my hair. It's become a disheveled mess playing this game. Its icy attack has a 40% chance to hit and deals 1d8 plus 1d6 damage. I am so dead. Your own attacks suffer a penalty die due to exhaustion. Give me a break. If the Windwalker overcomes you, the expedition is over. All right, let's fight the Windwalker. I feel this. I think if there was ever a time for me to start rolling well, it's now against my grad student who has turned into a Windwalker, this icy beast creature. I sure as hell feel like I can use my hatchet against this thing. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So against the 40% of the Windwalker, I'm going to have my own hatchet skill of 35%. Okay? So I feel like I have a chance. And I'm just going to make opposed rolls because we're in melee combat right now. I'm going to roll for the Windwalker first. I feel like that's a better build of suspense, at least for my taste. Get the hair out of the circle. All right, Windwalker, here we go. 61 is a fail. All right, 42, also a fail. It's a lesser fail, but I don't think that matters. I think that's a draw, right? So, good. So let's do another round of combat since nothing happened there. I think that what happened was the Windwalker tried to blast me with some frost, and I threw my hatchet up and blocked the attack, and no one got injured from that. So Sylvia the Windwalker, here we go. That's a 44, which is a fail. A 98, which is a fumble. Not great. Technically, the book said if both fail, no damage is dealt. With the fumble, I almost feel like I should take damage there, but since I'm already at a pretty big disadvantage, I don't think I'm going to do that. Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be rolling penalty dice. I forgot about the exhaustion. So since I cheated, I am gonna. Aren't you having fun watching me with these internal battles about how to do combat against myself? So I am gonna let the Windwalker deal me some damage. Since, all right, so it does 7 damage to me, which leaves me with 8 hit points. Not feeling wonderful about where this is heading, but it wasn't half my hit points, so I didn't fall unconscious. I guess that's a silver lining. So let's do it again. Let's do it again. Windwalker, take us home. The Windwalker has rolled a, what was that, 68? A fail. I rolled a 93. I'm not even going to roll my penalty dice because that's pathetic. I'm just going to run back. 2 fails. I'm going to run back with the Windwalker. 61. A 3, amazing roll. However, I have penalty dice, so I have to take the worst roll. That's a 14. All right, so I actually won this round of combat, and I cannot tell you how delighted I am to actually win a round against the Windwalker with penalty dice. So I feel like that's pretty awesome. I get to deal damage now, 1d6 plus 1 plus damage bonus, which is a d4. All right, cool. So I'm going to roll a d4, a d6, and add 1 to the whole mess and see what I do to this Windwalker. I'm starting to feel pretty confident. Wow, that is a 5 and a 4. If you can see that, it's a 4. So that's 10 damage that I've dealt to the Windwalker. And that brings its hit points down to 7. Am I crazy in thinking that the Windwalker's unconscious now? Is that possible? So let me switch back to my face here. Patrons, many of you know this game better than I do, so you're going to have to explain this to me. So in a single attack, I took off more than 50% of the Windwalker's hit points in 10. My feeling is that the Windwalker should be unconscious now, but at the same time, it's a Windwalker, so is that even possible? Sorry, I'm losing focus on myself. Great. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say that I knocked this thing out. Sylvia, and it's a grad student, so of course the professor is gonna win. So Sylvia's knocked out. Her Windwalker self is unconscious, and I am running for the hills. I'm not gonna stick around to kill this thing. Let's see. So what happens now? If you defeat the Windwalker, gain 1d6 sanity. I like that. So I've gained 2 sanity points back. So I have 66 sanity now. And I'm going to keep it on the roll because I think I have to make another roll. Attempt first aid. All right, I'll do that. Let me attempt first aid on myself. 30%. What is that? 21? Did I roll that over? I don't know, but right now it says 21, so I think that's a success. I'm going to roll, let's see, it says I can restore 1d3. 6, so 3 hit points are coming back to me, buddy. Wow, I have 11 hit points now. That was amazingly, oh, here's the 6. That was amazingly successful. What I don't know is if I did any of that correctly. So feel free to critique me. It's just a small group of us here, so I don't mind if you beat me up for messing the whole thing up. So I'm going to the next section now to see what happens. Despondent over the prospect of a trek through the wildest stretch of the Northwest Territories, you ram your way through the bush with bitter violence. Thunder rumbles in the western mountains like the echo of distant drums. The peaks fade into a lowering canopy of clouds. You wade a small river and then cross a pine ridge. The scenery blurs together as you go. In the days that follow, you try to fish with your bare hands, eat whatever you can kill, and take the berries that grow along the way. You are undergoing a test that would daunt a seasoned frontiersman. All right, I can restore 1 hit point. I'm at 12. That's cool. Make a survival roll. Survival woodlands. Let's see. My number is 40%. So can I beat that? That is... What's happening? I rolled the wrong dice. I'm so foolish. Let me take this one out. All right, a 64. I deserve to fail that because I rolled the wrong dice. But 64, so I failed my survival roll. I'm sure that's going to have a great outcome for me. I feel like I'm actually losing sanity recording this by myself. So let's see what happens. I have several options. I can establish a camp. I can strike deep into the forest, hug the tree line, explore rocky environs, or stick to the river. I'm going to hug the tree line here. Let's see what happens. What could go wrong? As you wander the banks of the North Hanana alone, you hear the crackle of walkers in the woods ahead. At first, your heart leaps at finding other people, but then you remember the cruel lessons of the big woods. They may not be friendly. You hide and wait for them. A moment later, a party of men appears. Undersized men with unnaturally gray skin. One holds the severed head of a woodsman. Wonderful. You duck your head, hoping they will not see you. Make a stealth roll. 20%? Yuck. I rolled a 15. That is awesome. All right, so great roll there. Stealthy little thing. I am. Hidden behind an ancient glacial moraine, you watch the group of gray men hurry past. Once they are long gone, you withdraw through the underwood at a tangent to their route. Make a luck roll. Sweet. My luck, which I have been spending, is 65 now. Let's see how I do. That's a 16. Now I am rolling very well, so this is good. It is time to decide the course of your expedition. Fort McDonald lies within your reach. Okay, so here we are. If I have an appetite for exploration, I can take another short side trip. I'm done. I'm done with this expedition. I'm going to Fort McDonald. I'm tired of the alien creatures and other beasts I've encountered. I'm tired of dying grad students. Going to Fort McDonald. You pass the place of splitting water with no particular difficulty and reach the calmer waterways of the West Branch. Great. The foraging is ample now, and you recover strength as you draw near to Fort McDonald. After so many days on the river and nights in the woods, it feels strange to sit in a stifling room and answer questions about your conduct. Oh, that escalated to something different. So I guess I'm at Fort McDonald now being interrogated. If you've lost any members of your party, multiply the number of losses by 15. Great. So I lost 4 members, so my number is 60. This is your liability score. All right, roll D100 against your liability score. I rolled an 8. This was the one time you didn't want to roll a small number, by the way. When your report of your party's misfortunes is analyzed by the Canadian authorities, they take you into custody and bring formal charges against you. They seem uninterested in any evidence of your discoveries. Wonderful. Your trial lasts weeks, during which every field decision you made is questioned. It is almost a relief when you are convicted of gross negligence and contributory manslaughter. You are incarcerated in a Canadian penitentiary where you become withdrawn and isolated, staring from your cell at distant woodland. A year later, you become eligible for parole, and the committee looks favorably on your conduct. Once you are free to leave Canada, you return to a ruined career in the USA. Yes. You have lost your position at Miskatonic University. The evidence you brought back from your expedition has been neglected during your confinement. I was tenured. Can they do that? I feel like this is trivial. All the most important pieces have been lost or ruined. Nevertheless, you attempt to publish your findings, of course. Your article only draws sensational press attacks, characterizing you as a moral cretin willing to sacrifice human life for scientific glory. You vanished from public notice with the dawning of the Great Depression. The Nadelman expedition is over. The end. Wow, I feel like I've won and lost at the same time. Is that the best possible outcome you can have? I guess the liability roll, had I rolled higher than 60, that probably would have been a better outcome. But otherwise, everyone died, but I didn't. So I feel like I did pretty well there. Again, if you're interested in playing this, I feel like I'm shilling for them, but I have no reason to. If you're interested in playing Alone Against the Frost, then pick it up. And I did play quite a bit of the journey, I imagine, with my side quests, but I'm sure your expedition will be different than mine. I do plan to play the other Alone games from Chaosium. If you have any recommendations for other solo games or maybe one-on-one games that I could play with Will or Chuck or someone else from the team, let me know. Also adventures that have two investigators and are pretty easy one-shots to run. I think we're going to experiment on here and try to give you some bonus content. I feel like anything will be more interesting than me being here by myself. But again, we're just getting started. This is video content that I hope you enjoy. And I know that a lot of us are working from home, looking for more activities to partake in. So this is one more thing. And thank you for sticking around until the end. I appreciate all of you. If you're new to Patreon and haven't gotten a sticker from us yet, I'm kind of staying away from the public right now. So once I'm willing to venture back out to the post office, I'll get you some cool stickers. Otherwise, let me see if I have those handy. I wanted to show you the femur mist stickers, if I can get that in focus. Maybe I can't because of the way the light bounces off of it, but got some femur mist stickers. I feel like those are pretty cool. So I'll probably try to send those out to just about everybody when I have an opportunity. And we're going to keep rolling along. Episode 4 of the podcast will be out April 14th. Of course, I'll give you an early listen as soon as I can. I had targeted April 1st for the dialogue cut. It may be slightly slower going than that, but I'll keep you posted and let you know. It's going to be a fun episode. All right, thanks. I love hearing from y'all. And maybe Will and I will do almost like a Q&A or behind the scenes kind of thing about how we're building the story and working on the podcast. Let me know what kinds of things you want to see on Patreon, because I do want this to be a fun place where you're not just supporting us because you like the show, but you're also getting some additional value out of it. So that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for joining me, and thank you and good luck out there.